The feeling of being lost and confused during this time is real, and no one prepared you for this. Here's what I want you to know. It isn't something to be dismissed or to push through. What you're going through is completely understandable, even if it doesn't make sense yet. If your child has just graduated from high school, or you're ready to send your child to college, or you're somewhere in the midst of this life transition, this big milestone, I'm going to show you why what you're feeling makes complete sense and give you the permission and the tools to make those feelings a lot less overwhelming. Once you know what you're feeling and pay attention to them, the overwhelm isn't so overwhelming anymore. And I know these feelings you're having because I'm having them with you right now. When I first started having these feelings, last few months specifically, I got curious, what is this that I'm feeling? And it just reminded me of doing yoga and the stretch and the not feeling comfortable. There's nothing broken. My muscles aren't breaking, but it's because they're expanding. Big emotions in this type of life transition is the same way. Big emotions happen. It's not because something's wrong, it's because we're expanding. And then while I was going through trying to figure out these emotions, they helped a little bit to have that metaphor. But then I came across this great book. It's called The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows by John Koenig. And there's a definition of the word sadness that just stopped me in my tracks, and I wanted to read it to you. The word sadness originally meant fullness, from the same Latin root satis that also gave us the word sated and satisfaction. Not so long ago, the author says, to be sad meant you were filled to the brim with some intensity of experience. It wasn't just a malfunction in the joy machine. It was a state of awareness, setting the focus to infinity and taking it all in. The joy and the grief, all at once. When we speak of sadness these days, most of the time when we really mean is despair, which is literally defined as the absence of hope. But true sadness, the author says, is actually the opposite. An exuberant upwelling that reminds you how fleeting and open-ended life can be. And then the author says, if you were lucky enough to feel sad, well, savor it while it lasts, if only because it means that you care about something in this world enough to let it under your skin. When I read that, it just stopped me in my tracks. It made me feel seen. And I hope by sharing it with you that you also feel seen. Because, oh my goodness, mama to mama, our kids have gotten under our skin. But the permission to feel isn't always enough on its own, because when you're in the middle of 5 different emotions at once, it can still feel completely unmanageable. So let me show you what actually helps. Here's the first thing I want you to know is you are allowed to feel more than one thing at a time. It sounds simple, but for most women in the empty nest transition, it doesn't feel simple at all. It feels like a contradiction. Like you have to pick one. Like you're proud, you shouldn't be grieving. Like if you're relieved, you shouldn't be sad. Like if you're falling apart, then you must not really be happy for them. But that's not really true. We're just feeling it all. This is how emotions work. Emotions are not either or. They are and. And you can love that they've flown out of the nest and still fall apart. Both are completely true. Both belong here. And I don't know about you, but also for the last few weeks and months, I've been focusing so much on my son and all of his things that when I have felt stuff underneath, I have just pushed it down because I wanted to be present for my son. And I just didn't have the time or the space to let the emotions come. But now that all the celebrations are over and the house is quieter, I can feel them coming in more. And maybe you're feeling that too. And that's the point. It's like, here's the time, here's the space, and we need to recognize what we're feeling. But here's what changes when you give yourself that permission to feel what you're feeling. Instead of managing your emotions, you actually start experiencing the moments that you want to remember. That's the beautiful thing of the and. And there's a phrase I use with all my coaching clients that go through this transition, and it might help you too. Name it to tame it. The moment you name what you're feeling, I am grieving, I am proud, I am scared, I am relieved, something shifts. The overwhelm starts to settle. You literally change what's happening inside you just by finding the right word. So here's one action from this video. The next time you feel that wave of building of emotions, pause and ask yourself, what am I actually feeling right now? Not why, not should I be, just what is this? Give it a name, even an approximate one. Scared, guilty, frustrated, all of it. And watch what happens in your body when you do. Notice if you shift, and it just allows you to breathe more. Naming it to tame it works. And if you want to go deeper on this, like I said, I've written a whole book about the tools for navigating this transition and other life transitions. A book I wish I had, Your Life Transition Toolkit, How to Weather What Comes and Embrace What's Next, comes out on September 15th, and the emotion work is right at the heart of it. Join the waitlist at claramei.com. The link is in the description. But let's get back to giving yourself permission to actually feeling what you were feeling in the moment without managing it. Not forever, not dramatically. Just let it move through you instead of holding it at arm's length, instead of pushing it away. The tears at graduation, let them come. The grief in the quiet house. Sit with it for 5 minutes instead of turning on the TV or scrolling on your phone. That pride that makes your chest ache, let yourself feel it. When the emotions are going through you, they don't get stuck. Remember what Joan Koenig said. If you were lucky enough to feel sad or happy, savor it. If only it means you care about something enough to let it under your skin. Let it under your skin. Let it be recognized. That's the fullness of this moment, and it deserves to be felt, Mama. So here's what I want you to take away from today. You're allowed to feel everything, the pride and the grief, the joy and the loss, the relief and the guilt, all of it at the same time. That's not falling apart. That's love. That's the fullness of this life transition. And when it feels like too much, try to find the word. Just try to name it, approximate, see what happens. Leave me a comment with one of these emotions you're feeling right now. Just one word. Now, once you start making sense of what you're feeling, most women find themselves asking a bigger question. Is this ever going to end? Is this just my life now? Why does everything feel so chaotic? Also, what is it that I want? What is it that you want, Mama? In my next video, I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to show you that what feels like chaos in this empty nest transition actually has a shape. And once you can see the shape of it, everything starts to feel less overwhelming. I cannot wait to see you.